Blackboard. And again, welcome everybody to this second to last session for the Faculty Development Community of Practice. Welcome if this is your first time coming. We have a team for the Distance Ed team who support online instruction at Nassau are here. Let them introduce themselves in a second when they get started. Talk about assisting neophobic faculty. I like that term. It's the first I had actually heard of that term.
Claudia.
So like we've been doing, if you're first time at one of these, well, they'll present for the first half hour. Feel free to put any questions you have in the chat for them as they go along. And then, at the end, we'll ask them questions, but then the second half hour, anything that's on your mind that you'd like to talk about, feel free to queue that up as well. I have a couple things I could share with you all. We have, like I said, one more in 2 weeks. There's the link to the agenda or the schedule for the series. I will be sending out, and I'll probably have it ready for the last meeting, a survey asking you all to talk about whether or not you thought this was useful. And if so, there's no reason we can't do this again in the spring. I know there are folks who would like to have presented this semester, but just couldn't make it work for whatever reason. So, I think there probably was enough interest in terms of people who signed up and showed up every week that it's making me think that, we might want to do this again in the spring. So anyway, I don't want to take any more time from our presenters today, so you guys take it away.
Okay, hi. So what's a tab is the title, and it is in fact a real genuine question that we received during the course of helping our faculty at Nassau Community College. And yes, we have our colleague Claudia to thank for helping neophobic faculty grapple with technology. We're so happy to be with you here today. Laura, should I have a signal? There we go. So when you work so closely with such great people, you get a little silly after a while. So that was our immersive view Zoom slide that we had way too much fun creating last night. Okay, so I'm at the bottom, so I'll introduce myself. I'm Cara Tesolino. I am a very happy employee and part-time in the Distance Ed office, led by the wonderful Dr. Deborah Spiro. And full-time, I'm a lecturer in the language immersion program, which is all English all the time. And I'm the COIL coordinator. So I have the pleasure of connecting our faculty at NCC with faculty overseas. So that brings us back to the top to Claudia.
Hello, everyone. Claudia Cafarelli. I am an adjunct professor in economics and finance and a part-time instructional designer in distance education.
Hi, everyone. I'm Laurie Gorman. I'm an instructional designer and an adjunct professor in the physical education department here at Nassau Community College.
Hi, everyone. I'm Laura Sullivan. I work full-time in the English department as a technologist, and I am an adjunct professor in the SPS department, and I am now also an instructional designer in the DE department.
All right, so today we'll be talking to you about COVID-19, the topic on everybody's mind, and very specific support we provide and have been providing during this time. The transitions from the beginning, sort of during, we keep hoping the pandemic is going to end, how we did it, what we learned, and of course the next steps looking ahead to D2L, to get used to saying that.
Okay, as we all know, the immediate transfer to remote learning started in March. I remember that day very well. We have on campus a house that has a lab as well as a studio, and we've been helping professors way before the pandemic to design courses. Claudia uses the lab or the studio, I should say, very frequently to help professors here on campus that are teaching fully online courses. And the lab, we ran workshops, month to month, which often you could hear crickets at times, prior to the pandemic. But in fact, the day that Nassau had to leave campus, Claudia was in the middle of a workshop, and around, between 1 and 2 o'clock that day, I think it was a Tuesday, it was March 9th, I believe, we were all asked to leave campus. And as we've all just shared with you, we are not only instructional designers, but we are professors, which I really believe is part of the reason why, we are successful at what we do here at Nassau, because we're able to see both sides and accommodate the faculty in the best possible way. But so not only did we have to be concerned about, how we were going to handle our students, but now we were faced with the challenge with helping an entire campus, many of whom had zero experience with learning management systems, even as to web enhance, which is something we always encouraged. And that's actually how I got started. I connected with Cara, who shared with you, she's the SUNY COIL coordinator here at Nassau. And so I had been using Blackboard way before the pandemic to COIL with Durban University in South Africa and Venezuela. So I was able to share that experience with my students, and they had therefore gained the experience. But a lot of professors here on campus did not. A lot of students didn't know what a learning management system was. So it was certainly a challenge. So our workshops initially, we actually worked one-on-one. We were basically just helping professors to the best of our ability. They would contact us, and the hours were long. I mean, we were working basically 7 days a week and trying to accommodate as many professors as we could throughout the day. And when we did start, so I told you prior to the pandemic, we could hear crickets when we had workshops scheduled, but now suddenly our attendance at our workshops were jumping 50 to 100 attendees. So the other thing that we were doing, and again, this was already in place prior to the pandemic, Stacy, who's here with us, she is the one that generates and creates all of our PDFs, and we had an entire library of resources for our faculty. So when we did find that faculty members were struggling with certain topics, we would often just send them PDFs and then ask them if they would like to meet with us. They could certainly shoot us an email, let us know when they're available, and we would be able to jump on. But our PDFs are very informative infographics that take the faculty step by step through the process. So they could, often they find them very helpful when they're sitting by their computer. And then we were also recording the workshop. So in conjunction with the recording, they could follow along with the PDF. So this was just an example of an email that we would send out to faculty with the various attachments, PDFs based on what they needed. This was mine, or okay. So this is an example of our NCC Online homepage, and this
Laurie, Laurie.
It's me.
Oh,
Laurie.
sorry.
We'll take
Okay.
it from here,
Okay.
Laura and I.
Okay.
She's ready to jump in at any time. That's how good we are.
Okay, I the dead space got me nervous. So.
She was like, uh-oh. Okay. So in the beginning, one-on-one was just not sustainable. We had faculty was calling us and emailing us. They were trying to, how do I reach my students? How do I reach 150 people at one time? They were going to UPS, they were mailing, they were having, I was going to people's houses, delivering webcams, paper, this was just, we were in crisis mode. So we were thinking about how are we going to reach these people? I had one faculty member where they couldn't figure out how to use Zoom. So I was on the telephone with them, giving their lecture on Zoom to their students. So this was just I used to call it Tuesday mornings with Barry. But so we decided we would start creating more videos. We would have to do courses on a larger scale. So we had to build something bigger. So Claudia is going to talk to you about how we move forward with that.
So what's important to remind you before I begin to demonstrate the support that we designed is that our faculty were very afraid of the Blackboard system. And I know that over the last 20 months, I've attended a lot of these SUNY workshops, and the word is that's used is resistant. Our faculty, we found, were paralyzed by fear. And so what we had to do is we had to get them as immersed into the Blackboard interface as quickly as possible. So what you're seeing right here is our homepage as it appears today. And what we'll do is we'll take a little tour. So on the left-hand side, you'll see that we have the SUNY online system that's really prominent, the link there and all of the information on how to contact them. Up on top, we're going to talk a little bit later about something that we use called drop-in sessions. And in the middle, we've got the 15-minute personalized sessions. On the right-hand side, we have the workshop registration. And what's important that we thought was that all of our instructional content was in Blackboard. So we don't have a separate website or another landing page where faculty go to for their information. We put everything into Blackboard to kind of really immerse them into the learning management system. Up on top, there's a support tab. I'll talk about a little bit more later, and that has a lot of on-demand resources. So what we did was we created a sort of knowledge base for the, if you could just click the button, Laura. We created a knowledge base with information. If you can click the arrow so that we can see the, thank you. Okay, so we created a knowledge base, and many times knowledge bases exist in a separate landing page, as I mentioned. But what we decided to do was to have all our questions and answers. If you could go back, Laura.
Go back.
Yeah, if you could just click the back arrow, because I just wanted to see the everybody to see the course menu. That's okay. So what we did was we created a course. It was an, no, back a little bit more so we could see the course menu for the Blackboard Basics course.
There you go. Here. Can you see it?
Yeah.
No, that's okay. So the Blackboard Basics course was a course that faculty were taking that immersed them into the Blackboard interface, and would have everything from how to upload your syllabus to courses by discipline, information for courses by discipline. The other thing that we had in here was up on top, you'll see Ncc Media Space. Again, we don't use, there it is, the Blackboard Basics course menu.
It was showing, but you couldn't see it.
And then up on top. Oh, yeah?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's why I was like, I can see it.
So, oh, I'm sorry.
It's all right.
Zoom.
That's why I was like, go ahead, keep going.
So up on top, we have something called Ncc Media Space. What we use as our video cloud platform is Kaltura. And Kaltura is where we keep a library of videos that are used by faculty and by students. Again, they're immersing the faculty right from the beginning. Everything is going to be where their courses live. And then the last thing that we had was a self-paced course, which was an on-demand course. But in the next slide, we'll talk about a more personalized approach that was beneficial for some of those neophobic faculty that we identified. So in the drop-in sessions, we created a sort of social opportunity for faculty to get together. And this was just as it mentions, it's just drop in, no registration is necessary. We would have them specialized in the beginning. So it was either drop in communication, drop in assignments, drop in tests. What we did is we created a Zoom link, we emailed the days and times to faculty, and they just dropped in. These became very popular as a training opportunity as well as a social outlet. You'll note at the bottom of the drop-in graphic that there's a mention that faculty drop-ins don't award badges. And I will be discussing the badges that we award after you can see a little bit more fun that we had in our Zoom immersive view. So in the next slide, what you'll see is our constellation of badges, professional development badges. And I think that these were really important as a way to make technology fun, gamify it, make it a friendly experience. So with every workshop that faculty attended, they would earn one of these badges. And the kind of gamifying aspect of this made them want to take more of these professional development workshops so that they can collect these badges. And I will even say that some of those neophobic faculty that we identified in the beginning have become quite persistent in receiving their badges right after they get their workshop.
Oh, yes.
So I think that this was really successful in motivating faculty.
Okay, so just to fast forward a little bit, so now we're in June of July of the pandemic, and as Claudia mentioned, we have self-paced courses, we have general drop-in sessions, and specialized department training. That became a big thing over the summer of 2020, that many of us instructional designers grouped with departments, and we ran special customized workshops based on their needs. That summer, we were also told by the outgoing vice president that in order to teach in the fall, Blackboard training, which we offer as a two-part, getting started 1 and 2, or what we call boot camp, which is accelerated Blackboard training. But that was a requirement in order to teach starting in the fall of 2020. But department heads went on to have their own requirements. For example, the reading department, English department, they would also require their faculty to maybe have a discussion board or assignment as an example. So again, here's an example of a email that we would send out to all faculty. The way this works is depending on who was scheduled, which DET member was scheduled to conduct that workshop or to work with that department, they would generate the Zoom link, and then we would put out an email to the department based on who registered. Again, we were all kind of flying at the seat of our pants at that point. We didn't really have like a structured email. We've now kind of, tweaked these a bit to so that they're more uniform from trainer to trainer. But, we did the best we could at that time to create these emails and get them out to faculty. We encountered a lot of difficulties with faculty email. There were different formats at that time, and we even had faculty, just to go back to the word neophobe, we had faculty members that didn't even check their emails on a regular basis, and so we would often be flooded with faculty saying, oh, I registered for the workshop but I never received the email, but that's because they didn't know to check their own campus emails. So that was a huge challenge for us, trying to take attendance so that we could award them badges. I can't even begin to tell you, after a long day at 9 o'clock at night, the last thing I wanted to do was, trying to find correct emails so we could send it to Blackboard administrator to issue the badges, because at that point, the badges became such a focal point that if we didn't get the badges to the faculty members in time, we would start to hear from them. And so that became a major challenge. Since then, we revamped our registration system, and the process is running, much smoother than it did at the beginning. But this is an example of an email that was actually sent to my department. We all tried to align ourselves with the departments that we worked in first, and then from there we kind of blossomed out, to other departments. But this was an example of a workshop I started with my department, the phys ed department. It was a boot camp workshop training for Blackboard basic training, and then this snowballed into weekly meetings with a group of about 6 people throughout the entire summer, so that I could train them on how to use the various tools within Blackboard. So by September, they were pretty self-sufficient at that point. Okay, it's kind of first you get overwhelmed by the need that, or the dependency of those faculty members, and then all of a sudden when you don't hear from them, they're like, why aren't they touching with us? But we taught them too well, I guess. But it really has been such a comfort, and I'm so proud of where the faculty have gone with this. Those that have totally embraced the situation.
Yeah. So I want, whoops, sorry. Can you go back 1 second? Because I wanted to add something. Since nobody was going anywhere in June and July, I had no photos of vacations to show anybody. Instead, I had the attendance photos from the workshops, which, as we mentioned, were 50, 60, 70 people. And if Laurie or Claudia or one of her colleagues was running the workshop, my job was the chat monitor. And it got crazy because then our DE department assistant would be texting me, hey, so-and-so can't get into the Zoom. Hey, could you let this one in? This one didn't get the email. And just be like this huge crush of letting people in, writing to them into the chat, making sure everybody was muted, taking the attendance photos, sending it to the trainer, making sure that, you know, I got the photos at just the right time of the attendance, because people would kind of drift in and then some people would drift out. It was just, it was such a good team collaborative effort to work together in that way and sort of like gently shepherd the faculty towards this technology. And as it got closer to the start of the semester, when these requirements, you know, they really had to show the badges, it got even more frenetic with people emailing us, I was in this, I didn't get my badge yet. And it helped us to, like Laurie said, refine our email and our messages at the very beginning and during the workshops and the end of the workshops to make sure people weren't signing in with like Cara's iPhone or Andy's dog mom, and just to remind the faculty to use like your name on your NCC email. I mean, just some of the basics that now we take for granted really eluded so many people almost to this day, right, Laurie? I feel like we had a drop-in recently where somebody signed in with a phone number, and we don't let folks like that into the drop-in because we don't know who it is. You know, so we write in the chat in the waiting room, please identify yourself. Sometimes they can, sometimes they can't. They come back in on a different device. This still happens.
Yeah, no, you brought back a lot of memories. I think I kind of suppressed, but you know, I just want to, you know, add to Cara's comment on collaborative effort. You know, under the guidance of our amazing Deborah Spiro, you know, the director of our of DE, and all of us. I think that's another reason why we all work, is because we have such a strong collaborative and supportive team that this is why you know, we work. So so that I think in order for the faculty to understand it, they needed to see how supportive and collaborative we were as a team. All right, we can go to the next slide. So this here is what our workshop started, our schedule started looking like. Again, Stacy went on, and she's here with us today. She went on to make some beautiful infographics on and create, you know, brand the workshop schedule. So, but we just wanted to give you an idea of, we still don't do this. We don't, when we're creating the schedule, we put the names of the presenters, but when we actually post this for faculty to register, we do not put the names of the, you know, of the presenters, because we want, you know, the faculty to register for the topic and not necessarily based on who the presenter is. So this is an example of the schedule before it actually gets posted to all faculty.
So now the needs of the faculty are changing. They're feeling comfortable putting into their schedule when they're going to be dropping in, but there's an additional need now for that refresher quick question. So I just have a quick question. I'll send you an email. All of us had developed a relationship with individual faculty, and we were starting to get overwhelmed with emails with that quick question. So we developed something called one-on-one 15-minute sessions using Zoom and using a scheduling tool called Calendly. So as I mentioned at the top of the workshop today, the top of our NCC Online homepage has the links for the drop-in sessions, so you can come in at any time. And in the middle, you can click to select a personalized session. And what pops up is on the lower right of the screen, which is a calendar of availability with 15-minute sessions that you can come in. Some of my sessions are 2 minutes. Some faculty will schedule back-to-back sessions, 2, 3, 4 sessions for a full hour, so that they can get, is Calendly free? Yes, it is. We happen to have the professional version at Nassau because so many of the departments use it, but the kind of watered down version that's fine for most people is a free tool. So this has worked fantastic. I've developed a really great relationship with faculty who I see weekly through this tool. And it complements the drop-in sessions tremendously. I talked a little bit about the support tab on top. We use EasySoft, which is a fantastic tool for kind of like a database of media. So you'll see up on top, they click the support tab. It brings us to this one page that asks them specifically what they're looking for. And then at the bottom, EasySoft will house PDFs, images, and videos. Another great thing is on the left-hand side, they also have inline pop-ups, personalized inline messages that you can turn off if you think that they're annoying. But what we currently have, as soon as you get onto the NCC online homepage, this is where we live every day with our students. We have this pop-up that is asking them if they want some information. Just remember that there's a tab up on top. And if they're done with seeing that, they can click the "Don't show me this again" pop-up. So that's facilitated by EasySoft. So the last slide that I wanted to present to you, and you could just click through this one. So Stacy is on with us today. Hi, Stacy. She's our department graphic designer. We're so lucky to have that in our department. So she develops these infographics, and they're really great visuals, tutorials that are specifically geared towards the type of faculty that we have that really have difficulty with just the typed instructions. So they see the screenshot and they see what they can do. You can imagine between all of the technologies that these new faculty have learned over the last year and a half, how many of these infographics, handouts, images we have accumulated. So we use a database called Airtable. And what we love about Airtable is that it's highly customizable. What we've done is we've separated the infographics that are for faculty, the ones that are for students, the ones that are for both of them. Stacy uploads them as PDFs, as JPEGs, and you can search them through filters. You can also search them through a pretty intelligent search function where you could just put Zoom in, and then every single Zoom media is going to come up. Every document is going to come up that has to do with Zoom. One thing to note here that Laurie had mentioned before is that because the entire team has access to Airtable, we can immediately be in a workshop or in the drop-ins, someone has a question. And if there are multiple people in the drop-ins, one person's going into Airtable, they're downloading and immediately putting into the chat a piece of media that everybody can use. So we've really had great success with this.
Just to back up Claudia on that, for a lot of times the way these infographics evolved is Claudia may pick up something in the 15-minute sessions, and then Laura and Laura, Cara, and I might pick up something in the drop-in sessions that's a common theme. For example, the switch in grade rosters used to be that here at Nassau we would get hard copy roster that the faculty could just handwrite in and then submit. That's been digitized. So those that struggle with technology, then that became a challenge for them. So once Debbie Spiro started to, hear common things, that's when she puts out to the team, hey, I think we need to work on this. And basically we get the ball rolling, we start with an outline, and then the team just starts adding to it based on what they've heard from faculty. And then next thing we know, we have an infographic that Stacy then takes and makes it into something that we can provide to faculty.
We use Google Documents a lot too as a way to collaborate within the team, and that's very helpful because we can put our comments in and see what one another has thought about. So it's a great tool.
So in our emails to a faculty, and then once our workshops are developed for the month, for the upcoming month, we send out an email to the faculty, all faculty, inviting them to go ahead and register for any of these. And obviously they're all free to the faculty members, but a Google site was, as Cara was saying, that we do use Google frequently. A Google site was developed for registration so that the faculty could see exactly what's available. And usually we try to create them based on what's going on during that semester. So, during the summer, we're running workshops in preparation for course design and, things that would make sense at that time of the year to help faculty prepare their courses for that, for the fall. And then towards the end of a semester or mid-semester, we might be, focusing more on tests because of midterms and assignments and so on. And then towards the end of the semester, we might be getting ready for a test, but the main focus at that point is usually grade center and so on. So there's a clickable link that the faculty can go to and register for whichever workshop that they would like to attend. And then based on who has that workshop, that's how we get access to the rosters in an Excel spreadsheet. It's actually a Google sheet, and then we can download it as an Excel spreadsheet and use that as an attendance roster the day of the workshop.
I want to address the question that John asked about the infographics being available to folks outside NCC. They're all branded for NCC. So Stacy, you see our infographics are in high demand.
They're good.
You can't have her.
So good. Yeah. Okay. So let's talk a little bit about the drop-in attendee and the sessions. Yes. Anxious, apprehensive, self-conscious, low hardware, low software. We're really not joking when we say what's a tab. Sometimes this happens quite a lot where the drop-in session will be 1:30, right, Laurie? And like 1:30 and 2 seconds will be flooded with people who have been waiting at their computer to click into the drop-in session so they can start with their questions right away. Or people know that it goes to 1 to 3:30 and they 5 minutes for the end, right? I know it's going to end soon. I just have one question. And a lot of times people will stay because they want to hear what other people have brought to the drop-in session. They want to learn. And so I think that speaks well, not only, of course, to our camaraderie, but the camaraderie that the faculty who come to these drop-in sessions have developed. Laura coined the phrase study hall, and it is, like people come in with their work to do, and then they kind of hang around with their coffee or tea. And, we just sort of talk a little bit about technology or issues that the students are facing or the faculty are facing, and I think that's a great credit to sort of the timeline of how, we've been responsive to the faculty and trying to sort of gently coax them along in this technology world. Laurie crafts an email and sends it to all the faculty at the end of the week for the following week for the drop-ins. And then as you saw, the homepage contains the links, which in the beginning we had to explain to people over and over. Go to NCC Online and just click on the link to come into the drop-in session. There are many emails.
Do I have to register?
Right. Is there a badge? That was a lot. We had to finally put there, no badges will be awarded for coming to drop-in. But it's a great experience. Sometimes we're flooded and sometimes, one person is there for 45 minutes. And every so often we reach out to our fantastic Blackboard administrator, Neil Francisco, for him, and he'll pop in or we'll encourage a faculty member to email him to sort of get that last piece of the puzzle. Right? We had that not that long ago, Laurie, right? With a faculty member.
Right.
Right. Yeah. Where we kind of brought him in and he solved the problem. So we're always learning alongside.
Yeah. A couple of times we've done that with Neil. Yeah. If if the team member is available, or we may turn around and just say, open up Claudia's schedule for the 15-minute drop one-on-one sessions. And we'll say, listen, she's got some time available here. She would, because we all have our area of expertise. Laura's become a resident voice thread expert. So, we all have things that, we're better at. So often we'll refer the faculty to that team member, depending on what the need is. But Donna was asking about a drop-ins. Yes, we very much still run these drop-in sessions. In fact, we have one tonight from 5 to 7. We try to run them different days and different times. And again, based on the time of year, somewhere towards the beginning of December, mid-December, we're going to be adding additional drop-in sessions that are going to focus on completing grade rosters. We try to meet the needs of the faculty member at that point in the semester. What's nice about the drop-in sessions is that the focal point has kind of come away from how to use that tool, that technology, but actually how to engage with that tool to, engage students, motivate students to enhance the learning environment. So it's become more pedagogical based than, just, how do I create an assignment as an example?
Right.
I think it's less putting the fire out and more like fire prevention. Like, let's think a little bit ahead to how you can repeat this in your Blackboard session.
And we have the repeat customers and people come in, and we even know as they're coming in, we're like deploying a test today. Or,
we have faculty that
our new blah 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 today, and they're like, oh yeah. And like,
but that's a good point, Laura. We have
going on. It's like we're like a bar,
But we have faculty member that they know how to deploy tests now, but they just need hand holding. So they come in and they just feel comfort sitting with us and going through. Dottie.
And Dottie, yeah.
So.
Yes, we've seen all types. Okay, so what we learned from drop-in going forward, the chat feature is amazing. What happens is Laurie might be helping a faculty member. And so when a new person comes in, I write immediately into the chat, welcome, how can we help you today? Sometimes I can help a person right in the chat, or sometimes we'll go into a breakout room. As we mentioned, it's extremely collaborative, and there's almost like a very nice infinity of, drop in, maybe we'll send them to Claudia, or they'll need a workshop. And so we use the chat feature quite a lot just to kind of add additional information. I really think that the faculty who come to us in the drop-ins, by and large, really see us as allies and supportive of their efforts. We're all in it together. And I think it's created such a nice, warm, and hospitable environment. And as we know from research, when the effective filter is lowered, that opens the channels for acquiring new information. We know this with language students. We know this just in our population as well. So the more we can lower their anxiety, the more patient we are in saying the tab is at the top of your screen. Just look at the top where it says NCC. And that just relaxes everybody. It just makes for a better outcome for all involved. People will come in and offer one another tips that they've learned from drop-in or the workshops or from other sessions that we offer. And it's just it is study hall. It is nice. There's tea and coffee, nothing else. But
cookies.
Cookies, right? That's right. We have virtual cookies. Anything else you want to add, guys, about drop-in? I know we have a few more slides.
I would add, just based on what you were saying in terms of the support. I mean, there are often times that we're offering support that is beyond the realm of distance ed, but as faculty member, as I shared with you earlier at the beginning of this presentation, because we are faculty members, and in addition to instructional designers, we feel for the professors. So we're always going, instead of sending them away someplace, we're going to, because we all know how annoying that can be, go to this person and go to that person. So we try to help them. I can't tell you how many times, I've been in a drop-in session and I just text Laura, are you available? Could you just come in right now? And next thing you know, she's popping in. So, that's just the support that we feel comfortable offering, rather than sending them off to somebody else that may not ever get back to them.
Well, that's the thing. That's the connection, because I'm full-time in the English department. I have the English department, and maybe I'll just go to that slide. So we're a big department, one of the largest departments in Nassau Community College. And so when in the beginning of COVID and stuff, I was developing all these things kind of like by myself. So with my department, creating the templates, getting the stuff, collaborating with DE. And that's kind of like how we were building our relationship. And then I kind of just like crossed over. So I was going into the drop-ins, I was going to the workshops, I was learning and cultivating and trying to, and that was like almost like reinventing the wheel. So it was kind of like, well, let's just put our heads together and kind of, you know, build this together. So now we have a great working relationship. We're working them. We know if an English person is coming in, sometimes like I get referred back to me, but then there's other things that I might know about that the DE team, so they refer them back, you know, so we have just like this great working relationship. So I feel like it's really helped and helped the English department staff and help us, you know, just build a great relationship. So I think that like the college-wide collaboration relationship has grown a lot stronger during this time. That's kind of like where I feel.
Well said.
Yep.
So a case study of a neophobic department would be my full-time department, Link. We're working with ESL students. And so whenever I would come and say, hey guys, you know, Blackboard is a really great tool for your students. This is pre-COVID. They would say, we're language teachers, not technology teachers, until of course COVID hit. And then we have two hats to wear now. And so it says teach skills, but it should say tech skills. Some people were very open to Blackboard before COVID and, you know, got the training and would web enhance their classes. And other people wanted nothing to do with it, again, until COVID. And then, like Laura described with the English department and DE, I worked with both departments to kind of gently bring everybody over from Link into the technology world. Some people are extremely tech phobic. In fact, one faculty member spent most of the remote semester not using Blackboard at all. And so we created the hybrid self-paced Blackboard training. We reviewed everybody's Blackboard course at the beginning of the spring semester, spring 2021. And then we had specific workshops based on what the Link faculty told us they needed, like assignments, for example. That's a big one for us. We're a pass-fail class, so we don't necessarily need tests the same way other people do, or grade center. So having it customized to our specific anxiety and technology level really helped so much. And now most of the people in the department are soaring. And we, some of us have blended classes where we have some students who are remote and some students are face-to-face. And you know, talk about having to activate all your tech skills every single day when you teach 20 hours like we do in our program. So the combination of the support of DE and, you know, recognizing where the Link faculty were at, it just made it so win-win that we were able to offer drop-in sessions for our ESL students who have to navigate not only English, but all the jargon like delete key and enter button and tab and all kinds of things that just may not be familiar to them. And so that was a really big help. In addition to Blackboard training sessions and Zoom training sessions, again, just for these ESL students who leave our program and they'll go on to the classes on what we call the main campus. So that's a great service to the faculty and to the students who sometimes feel kind of marginalized, to reach out to them and say, you know, we see where you're at and we're ready to help you. We want to give you these additional tools to continue your success. That's us.
Yeah, feel free to contact us if you have any questions. I know Deborah Spiro did put the distance ed email in there. So if you wanted some information on the infographics that Stacey creates.
Any questions? I know there was some in the chat.
I wasn't able to see the chat.
There was one here. You talked about the blended model. How many classrooms do you have? Okay, fitted to this.
I can tell you in the Link program, we have 2 classes out of 10 that are fitted with this blended model, and they are the 2 classes with the lowest proficiency of English. It's a challenge. It's really tough for them and for the instructors to navigate between the 2 different modalities at the same exact time. I don't know, but in English, you don't have it anymore, right, Laura?
In English, we have 6 running right now, but going forward in the spring, we don't have any at the moment, but that could change.
Different hours. Okay, hey Chilton. We have different drop-in hours at different times of the day. Do we have any trends on what time of day work best? That's a great question. I mean, you know, at NCC, we're kind of sun up to sundown. So the bulk of our classes, I believe, would be occurring between, say, 8 and maybe 1. And so having those drop-in sessions in the early afternoon, I feel like reach a greater population of faculty. We have a very robust adjunct presence on campus. And so having the one today, like Laurie and Laura are going to host from 5 to 7, that also can get a different sort of population. I don't know.
Yeah,
Laurie,
the 15-minute sessions do show skew more towards later in the day.
Mm-hmm.
No, but you know, even though we still send emails, you know, each for the upcoming drop-in sessions, the faculty have just become accustomed now. They know to go to the NCC online homepage. If they're home working on something, they literally go, well, let me see if there's a drop-in session so I can, you know, pop in. And this is what they've been doing. And if they can't get to a drop-in session, then they'll look at Claudia's 15-minute sessions. I mean, at times Claudia's actually had to hold faculty back from us. They'll book multiple 15 sessions, right? Claudia, back to back to back.
Yeah, and you know, I can't stress enough. I think that the whole thing that we started off with, there is a human element to what we did. We know who our faculty are because as faculty members, we are seeing each other as our classes are finishing or starting. And as Laurie said, I'm just so proud of the ones who stuck it through. You know, one faculty member, this is my famous story, one faculty member, I mean, he stuck it through. A couple of weeks ago, he asked me if he could, who the contact was to shut off the person who was changing his spelling on his emails. So it gives you an example of, you know, really not understanding how technology works today.
No, not at all.
Debbie has her hand raised.
Debbie has her hand up.
I wanted you all to finish and thank you all for really portraying the way we work together so well and just run ideas by each other and are constantly shifting to meet faculty needs. So I just took a few quick notes that I just wanted to point out. Unfortunately, it had to take a pandemic, but one of what we're coming out from this is the new way that we will be continuing to do things. And it took the pandemic for our DE department to be recognized, to be visible, to be mainstream. The other thing is the remote sessions for training, for drop-in, for 15 minutes, they work better than anything we've done in the past, and we will continue to do that. And so John, I see asked, Chilton maybe asked about the drop-in hours. We've done surveys, we've done data collection. We have tried to figure out what worked best for faculty schedules, but really the answer is remote because you can have back-to-back meetings, but still find time to do a drop-in. The ladies on this call are part-time in DE, so we have to also work within their schedules, but it's so much more flexible to do it remote. And to try things. We could try evening, we could try weekends, morning. It's the options that also make it so visible and maintainable. And the one other question on badges, I want to say, John, you had the question on why they're so popular. So we happen to be very fortuitous to roll out the badging platform before the pandemic. And we did it as a way, as a stepping stone to hopefully go to the micro credentials for the academic courses. But we wanted in DE to have the platform already created. And then we figured we'd try it for professional development to replace our paper certificates. Well, not knowing there was going to be a pandemic in March, when everybody was going to Blackboard and Zoom, we had this in place and we were able to then build off of this, give the faculty something for their efforts, make it digital, of course. The first question was, can we get a paper copy? And yes, that was built into it, paper certificates for the promotion folders, but okay, it's a transition and a transformation, but we are in place now and it's accepted and it's used. In fact, some of the training requirements that have been added going forward are based on sharing and showing your digital badges. So it has helped point us in the right direction. And the micro-credentialing discussion now is continuing with this in place, which will make life much easier. What are we using? We're using them for professional development right now, for workshops, and Stacy is very busy with that because it branched out from our DE workshops to
what
now
tool to make them?
workshops given across the campus. Laura, you wanted to say?
No,
That's
I didn't
Calendly.
know if she's asking what tool or
Credly.
what platform.
Oh, Credly.
Wanna
Donna
go
was
back to that
asking, what are
slide?
you using badges? What are you, oh, what, I'm sorry. Yeah, Credly. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
Laura, do
But-
you want to go back to that slide?
Yeah, it used to be a
Uh,
claim and now it's.
Yeah,
Credly.
now it's
Right, but
I think
didn't
they're
know she
back to
meant, like-
Credly now, though.
Yeah,
Yeah, they're
Credly,
back to
yeah.
Credly,
They're
but I was
merged.
curious if she meant what tool
Yes.
to actually make the badges.
Oh,
I didn't
yeah.
know she was going
Stacy.
that deep, That's why I was clarifying.
Well,
Sorry.
Stacy can speak on that if she
Yeah, I
wants to
know.
know.
That's why I was asking. If she's here, she could answer that. You want
Yeah.
me
Well,
to
I
go back
create
to
the-
the presentation, I can, but
Well,
Right.
Yeah, I
Stacy-
just wanted to know what tool it was, and you answered that
Mhm.
question. Thank you.
Great.
Sorry.
I think at least once a week in drop-ins, we are sharing our class Blackboard, which I think, again, helps the faculty so much because they're home, so they're less anxious. They're not like in a room with us and just the computer. They're relaxed, so they're better to take in our information. And then we're showing them, yes, I had that problem too with assignments, and here's how I solved it. Or I have to edit essays in Blackboard too. Here are the tools that I use. And so just being able to relate to the faculty, completely as peers, and doing it remotely, that is really, I think, one of the underpinnings of what has helped faculty be successful in this crazy pandemic world we're in.
Mhm. Absolutely.
Roberta is saying that MTech issues badges. Yeah. I think I have one, I hope.
I have a few, yeah.
That was a great training that Laura encouraged me to do, right, Laura? Yeah.
I know, I make her do all these trainings.
I think I did 3 that week. and
Quality
she's
by
like, "It's
design, I
fine."
made you do that one too, yeah.
Right. Yeah. That's why
Oh,
my
worth
phone
it.
has no photos of that summer. It's all like Paris PD that summer, but it was good. It was great. There are a few badge earners on the call. I think so. Yes.
Yep.
Featured prominently in our marketing materials, right? We have a great, we have 2 more PDs this week, one for International Ed Week. I'm putting my coil hat on, right, children? And 2 is Laura's hosting ERC Day.
Mhm.
Yes, I am.
Yay! It's just
Yeah.
focused on remote and online instruction. So we're just trying to get to the faculty practically 24/7.
Sarah, you're correct, and I think that's one of them. If we all had to say the reason why we work, it's again the support and the guidance of Deborah Spiro and how she makes us all feel that we're truly part of a team, and then the background of and the knowledge that we have as faculty members, and the passion we feel for that and that when it comes down to it, it's about the students. Okay, yes, we want to have to help the faculty, but helping the faculty ultimately helps the students. And I think that's why we're all teaching. The bottom line is the students. So that engages them and motivates them to learn. If we can look at or help faculty design courses that students are accessible to students on all levels. Okay, diversity.
Anything else? Chris, is there anything else that you wanted us to touch on, or you have something?
Wanted to say?
No, I just think that thank you so much. It was great to see a response from a team like this. You should consider yourselves very lucky to have a team. I don't know if
We
how
do.
many of you are in workplace. Stephanie Mullenberg from Broome had posted a workplace in the instructional designery group asking campuses to say how many instructional designers and other people who support instructional design on their campus they have. And, a lot of campuses, folks are wearing that hat among many other hats. And I understand that you were all kind of half-time in your team, but still, the fact that you were all able to kind of collaborate like this is a really great model that I wish, you do have a lot of faculty. I was looking at some of those numbers before, and I was like, wow, that's a lot of folks to support, but still, I know there are campuses which probably put less resources to support, faculty like this. So kudos to you all at Nassau for doing a good job. And thank you all for sharing, just giving us the behind the scenes look. That was the whole idea behind all these, is just to give everybody behind the scenes look. So, yeah, Donna's saying she's jealous.
Yeah, no, my heart goes out to anybody that has a small team, because we could use more people, and I don't know how campuses do it any smaller than what we have, but I know that happens.
The only other thing too is just the badging. We obviously use badging for all of our programs at the Center for Professional Development. And some faculty do like to get them and gamify and kind of earn all the badges they can. But I find it nice just because it forces us to sort of, with the meta data where you put in like what you need to know and be able to do for your badges, and then sort of organizing them so you can kind of see how they stack into an overall badge. And that was really helpful for us just to kind of think about like what we're expecting of folks for their, the programs that we offer. And so it seems like for you guys, it's really, you're taking a screenshot of the participant list, and if they show up, they get the badge. Is that how it works?
We actually, from the registration site, we're able to, it generates a Google Sheet, and then we can download it as an Excel spreadsheet. And then what we do is, on the attendance list next to each name, we say yes or no that they were in attendance. We save that and we send it to Blackboard administrator, and then he uploads the information into Credly to generate the badges. So that's how that works.
In the past, before we set that up, that's when I was doing the photos of the.
Oh God, yeah, that was unbelievable.
Because it was,
okay.
Like we were kind of, like we were saying, just going by the seat of our pants at that point. So people would register, and our department assistant would kind of take it all in. And then we would get these inevitable, I didn't get the email. I don't know how to join the Zoom. Where's the workshop? I need my badge. And then they would come in, and then I would be taking all these pictures of the participant list, scrolling 70 people, and then sending it to the trainer, and then sometimes coordinating with the trainer to make sure, because, Esther would say, I was there, I didn't get my badge. And then we'd have to go back through the photos and say, oh, no, sorry, you weren't there. Most people are honest and good. Every so often there'd be a few kind of sneaking around, but we're on it. Because
we were also using the Zoom.
Yes.
Yes.
So Chris, what you were mentioning before, one of the things that's part of the constellation that Stacy designed is that it's clear what the badge is for. So they're color coded. Our interactive tools have the purple background, the administrative tools have the red background. So there's, a visual component of this that I think also is motivational for them. And then on their side, when they go into their Acclaim account, it's a nice collection. We all remember, Pokemon cards and stamp collectors. It's a human motivation to collect things. And I do think that this was an essential part of getting those faculty early on to feel like I have something to show for it. That's not a paper certificate in a manila envelope that's somewhere in a file cabinet. They can just go on there and proudly see what they've accomplished.
And the visual element, that with the combined with your infographics too, I think, we're so inundated by text. And so to have actual images associated with the work that you're doing, I think is a really good strategy.
Chris, that's an interesting point. We consider ourselves digital designers. We're not all Stacy, but we have the vision and the thought to convey to her, and she gets it out in a visual way. And just one other thing, what we did with this is set this up as a model, and we have, and Laura is very instrumental in this, it's a project for ePortfolio. So this is modeling the way for students themselves to set up their badges and link to portfolios. So one thing leads to another.
All right, well, it looks like we're almost out of time. So thank you all for an excellent presentation. We will be uploading the recording to the website, and also I'll put it in a workplace in the faculty development group I wanted to just point out to you all, there's a webinar coming up next month for the Lumen Circles program, which is that free to your faculty teaching circle program online. And there are various options. There's a webinar coming up designed for people who do faculty professional development and support to learn about them in case you want to know a little bit before you promote them to your faculty. So I put the link in the chat to that webinar. It's going to take place on December 2nd at noon. And then if you want to know more about the Lumen Circles and how to, for faculty to sign up, it's here. And I'm pushing this mostly because, if I was on a campus, it's always great to have programs that you don't have to pay for, that are really high quality, like SUNY is paying for this. So, anyway, so I just want everyone to know about it because who knows how long we can pay for it. So
I recommend it. I'm in my second one and it's fantastic. And it's great that it's free. Thank you.
Yeah, hey, no, thank you. Yeah. So we have one more, and let me just throw in the chat just one more time really quickly, the link to the webpage for this. So our next one, and our last one on December 1st, will be about supporting adjunct faculty, so we have two presenters from Rockland and FIT. And I know a lot of you do that, and you talked about it today. And sometimes you have to just change your strategies a little bit to support adjuncts. And so they're going to talk about what they're doing at Rockland and FIT in our next session. So, all right. Well, thanks again. Have a great Thanksgiving, everyone.
Yes, happy Thanksgiving.
Safe travels if you're
Happy
traveling,
Thanksgiving.
and see you in a couple weeks,
Thank
hopefully.
you.
All right.
Bye.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.